Thank you. Maybe we'll have some slides. There we are. Okay. So this specific statistic may be new to you, but as Nancy was talking about, disruption is occurring. And you're well aware of that, and you're aware of those forces. IBM just did a very interesting C-suite study, and you can Google that and find it, and a paper about redefining boundaries. And it's really about these disruptive forces, and it actually provides a comparison with the study we did in 2013. And there's some interesting insights there. Amongst them is that competition is changing, or the perception of competition. Whereas before, it was, for a bank here, it was the bank down the street, maybe the bank in Hong Kong. Now disruption is coming from startups, and they call that ankle biters, who come in and maybe are just focusing on a specific piece, maybe a specific demographic, but start to take bites out of the business, start to create new markets, and really disrupt. But also coming from companies in other industries, crossing over and the merging of industries and technology, very much driven by technology. And additionally, by digital giants such as Amazon going into new industries like groceries. So this disruption is occurring, and you'll hear a lot about how the startups are out there and you need to be more like a startup, and that's true. But that's not the whole story, because enterprises can be successful at innovation. And I'd make the claim that Bluemix and what we're doing in the garage is an example of that. And as much as I love my Prius, and I've had one since 2004, and I love my iPad, one of the most intriguing stories I find here is actually Philips Hue. How do you innovate around an over 100-year-old invention, the light bulb? Right? And there are forces of change occurring in the light bulb industry as we go from incandescent over to LED. Hue has taken it a real step forward in terms of a set of light bulbs that you control with an application. And even further with a set of APIs. So my friends in Silicon Valley have actually written their own app to control it, to automate when the lights come on. So I'm going to talk to you today about some of the success factors and some advice around succeeding with innovation in the enterprise. And I'm going to talk about the Bluemix Garage. And Steve kindly introduced it, which is a startup within IBM. We were founded in April of 2014. As Steve talked a little bit about, we work with clients on innovation in turn. We bring clients into the garages, which are located in startup communities, and we work with them on going from an idea to a pilot to scaling. And I'm going to talk to you today about how we have become a successful startup within IBM, which is a very large enterprise, of course, and then also how we help our clients to be successful in innovation. And the starting point is really with a vision, and then with sponsorship. So the vision came from Steve and I, and we developed this idea that clients are looking for new ways to innovate, that helping clients to innovate would help to make them successful in adopting Bluemix, that successful applications are what we need to drive IBM Cloud growth, and that clients would be willing to come to locations like San Francisco and partner with us if we could show a significant amount of change that we could introduce and drive success. We took that idea to Robert on a Monday. Robert liked it. He said, make it bigger. So Robert is our SVP, make it bigger. And I like it so much, I'm going to take it to Ginny on Wednesday. And then we got the green light. And it was about maybe a month before we were then getting ready to announce at Impact. We had to sign a contract with Galvanize, which is a startup community in San Francisco. We had to get our marketing story together. We had to start hiring people. It was a busy time. And we were able to do that because IBM has been transforming around client value, and because we had Robert's sponsorship. So I IBM legal and real estate and security and health and safety, coming together and helping me to make this happen. And you can see Steve there visiting the original site of the Bluemix garage, because with our partner Galvanize, we're actually in a beta. So, we started small with a great vision. Now, executive sponsorship doesn't stop with, here, go do it, and I'm going to fund you. It really comes from continued involvement and continuing to help us to focus on the right elements of our vision and how we develop that, tying us into the larger enterprise, because you don't want your innovation to be completely isolated. You want to give it enough isolation to go fast, to change the culture, to be creative, to go outside the box, but it needs to tie back to an end result for the core business. And you want to leverage that core business, the go-to-market that we have, in our case, through IBM, through events like this, for example. At the Bluemix Garage, we're very strongly focused on customers, both in how we work with customers and how we help customers to focus on their end users. And here are two of our very first clients who came to the garage. On the left is Tangerine Bank, and on the right is Manulife, actually the product manager for a Manulife project, sitting with our lead designer. And you can see the kind of intensity we bring, and also getting outside the box. So I met with the Vice President of IT for Canada with Manulife, Doug Powers, at Impact in 2014. And he was excited about what he had heard about the Bluemix Garage. And he was looking at exploring new ways to innovate and even disrupt what his IT organization was doing, and to drive greater alignment with his business. So with working with us, we identified a project. He enlisted a business partner, and they came to the garage, and we ran a workshop that summer. He knew he was the first client coming, so we were quite open about that. And the paint wasn't quite dry. We were in our early space. We were in the midst of hiring. We're in the midst of evolving what our workshop was going to look like, learning from IBM design thinking. And as we were planning this, one of my colleagues, who I greatly respect, said, Rachel, you might want to wait. It's not all there yet. You're not quite there. Maybe you should wait. I paused and I thought about it. I was like, no, I'm going for it. Because we have to start engaging with clients. How am I going to know that the value proposition that we created is really going to work if I don't start getting clients in? And even though I didn't have everything I necessarily needed, I was relying on the fact that I had lots of friends and goodwill and support from the larger organization, and that Damien would send me designers to help me, which he did. And we had a very successful workshop, thanks to my friend John Wolpart and a lot of great lean startup thinking, which then led to actually our first project. And with that project, we were also, kind of bringing things to bear just in time. We actually moved into the new and current garage space literally the day before the project started. But we had backup plans. You do that kind of thing. So, but doing these initial customer interactions were critical for both honing what we do and validating it, and also convincing our sponsors that we were on the right track. Now, switching focus, thinking about what do we do with our customers. So Steve touched on it a little bit. So the way we engage with our customers as a starting point is that you have an opportunity, a problem, maybe an idea. And we bring you into the Bluemix Garage, and we spend a day and a half to 2 days. And our starting point is who is the end user? What do they feel? What do they do? How do they make decisions? Really get in their skin. And if it's a millennial you want, we'll make sure there's a millennial in the room. And then we look at what is the current process? What is their current experience? And where are the pain points? And it's only when you have fully understood where your users are at, where they're coming from, that you can start to solution and do ideation. And then we go think outside of the box. That's design thinking. We apply that throughout IBM and part of how we design Bluemix. Then we bring in the lean startup concepts, and we push really hard to say, what are the key hypotheses? I said to our marketing lead, what are the metrics for success for this event? You know, and you should decide ahead of time. Right? So what are the key hypotheses? What are the things that you need to prove out that say that this is something that you should continue to invest in? And then from that, what is the minimal viable product that we need to build to test that out? And sometimes it's a paper wireframe, you know, and sometimes it's a running pilot application. There's a spectrum. And the key thing is to start building it and to get the feedback. Get out with the users, get out with your market, and get that feedback. And that's what we do with our customers. And this picture is actually the IBM Bluemix Garage Method team, who are a DevOps team, at the Bluemix Garage going through this with us. So, you know, I talked about, you know, some risk-taking. And there's lots of controversy in articles about, you know, fail fast, and it's not really a great term, and it should be validated learning. You know, in my mind, it goes to two things. One of the hardest cultural transformations to address, which is embracing risk and saying that it's okay if not everything succeeds. We ran Toronto Launch. It was a great event. We did an experiment of making a certain kind of offer around our workshops. And Steve, sorry to tell you this, but it didn't work out. It didn't. The people accepting the offer didn't understand enough about what we were offering, and there was actually cost to us pursuing all of it. So it wasn't the right offer. I was up there last week, and John Marini, our head of the Toronto Garage, said, yeah, this is kind of what happened. I'm like, how do you feel about it? He's like, hey, we learned, and this is what I'm thinking about next. What do you think? I'm like, great. That's what we want. And the culture that we have says, he did the right thing. And we'll do try the next thing. So it's not about, it's not that it's good that it failed, right? It's good that we learned from it. And frankly, it was a small investment. You know, it was a medium-sized event. It wasn't like doing it an impact. What we want to do is make sure that we've honed our offers for our big event at Interconnect this year. So learning early, taking those risks. As you look to set up an innovation team or an innovation project, you need a level of isolation. You need permission to break some of the rules. And there are rules you have to adhere to, too. So it was made very clear to me that we are always to pass audit, and we do, right? And we have people who help us to do that. At the same time, you know, we come to work in a different way. We provide a different, you know, snacks that are maybe different than you'll find in our labs. We kid around a lot. And we have a very collaborative working environment. You know, we're in these startup communities. But this picture is not the garage. This is the Austin Design Studio, which is 2 floors in Austin in a traditional IBM development lab that we transformed to promote the kinds of collaboration and innovation thinking that we want with our design team. And we are now transforming more and more spaces around IBM for that collaboration. So physical space does count. Bringing people together, co-location, collaboration, and the expectations you put on people that is what they are doing. We have a phrase that we use a lot. It's called welcome to the garage. And on the one hand, it is come and visit us and you're welcome. It's also a statement that we want everyone to be comfortable when they come to the garage. And people do. They come and they're invigorated by the energy and the intensity and our focus on clients. You know? And of course, we blend startup culture with IBM culture. Professionalism, as you would expect, you know, the understanding we have of the enterprises. Welcome to the garage has a second meaning, which is to the employees of the garage, which is the snacks need unloading. You need to stock the refrigerator. Somebody needs to go give a tour. And especially for the new folks in, and even visiting executives on occasion, it's like, could you please go do this? Welcome to the garage, which means we all help out, and we all work together, and we have a common goal. Steve touched on this already, which is the Bluemix garage method. And so what we've done there is take what we've been doing in the garage and combine it with a transformation around DevOps that's been occurring inside of IBM, led by Angel Diaz, who's here today, which in turn is pulling in a lot of the work that we've done in open source around DevOps. This method is MVP. It's a website. It is minimal viable product. And it's instrumented with all kinds of metrics that tell us which ones get clicked on, how much time people spend, what they're interested in, and we can do A/B testing. So we can try out, are people interested in this new practice, for example? How many people are going to the track? We want people to go see our tracks because that's the prescriptive method through. So we do that. We push updates many times a day. So we, to use the expression, eat our own dog food. And it's a great testing ground for this. So with that, to kind of summarize is, as you've heard with all the disruption, and I have companies in all the time, talking about innovation, get started now in the small, in the large, focus on the customers, get that executive support. You need a vision. You need a set of leaders who share that vision, who then build a team around that vision, around the culture that you want to promote. The garage team is a combination of IBMers and external hires, of experienced developers and newbie developers, all who bring value, and of course our fabulous designers who are really, our secret sauce. You want to create an environment that promotes the collaboration. You want to have the executive sponsorship that says it's okay if not everything you do is successful, as long as you are learning from it and evolving both your vision, your go-to-market, your innovation products, and driving success that way. So I invite you to bring an idea, a problem, an opportunity to us at the Bluemix garage, specifically, and come and do a workshop with us and start to experience it yourself. Thank you.